why do you buy? And I'll give you that very specific, precise answer that I hear. You know, आप लोग ईमानदार लोग हो. And very honestly, a lot of the people across the price segment, let it be a mid-premium, affordable, luxury, they have said, "Aap log imandar logo," which comes to the question that, or to the point that Sunny you raised. It's all about trust. Unfortunately, our sector or real estate in the past, for various reasons, have been plagued by a lot of mistrust because of actions which are our own doing. It is not that somebody else from outside came and created a mess of the sector. A lot of that is actually changing now. A significant amount of professionalism is there in the sector. I think it is very well organized. It is getting organized even more by the day. If you look at the statistics, and these are all out in the public domain, almost 50% developers have shut shop after RERA has come. Right? In terms of the corporate or listed entities, the market share has moved up to 34% as of last quarter, and that's expected to go up to 50%. And the reason is very obvious. The reason is, the consumers are aware. The consumers are very well aware what are their rights. You can't take them for a ride. You need to fulfill your commitments. You need to fulfill your promise. And one more important thing that I want to mention, as again Sunny said, selling them promises, right? I use the word Sunny dreams. I said you're selling them the dreams. And the worst thing that can happen to an individual, let it be of any age, is when you break that dream. Right? And the moment of reality or the moment of truth in our business is when you deliver the house and when the consumer has to experience that particular house. If all the promises and the dreams that you have shown, if they hold true, you have earned a promoter for lifetime. And if you break that, I think he's going to be a detractor for lifetime.
So under promise over deliver is the mantra. On that note, let me actually wake up the audience, and through a show of hands, how many of the audience believe that building a brand is more difficult or maintaining a brand is more difficult? Show of hands for building a brand more difficult.
Requirements are changing. It's like, instead of buying a house, most of the people who are smart financial geniuses would rent a house because the yields are so low, right? And that I can see happening across. And the digital transformation, the digital connectivity has reduced the scope. For example, we could very well have this meeting in digital. Okay, 1,000 people attending it. So I think it's about innovating and giving reasons for people to be able to get into what they want to have. So I would put innovation because we continuously pivot towards building our brand and adding more new products and newer alternate classes.
Okay. Ravi, one word that defines your brand. You can go with two, but not more than two.
Consistent quality.
Okay, that's two words. Thank you. Sunny, book or podcast for brand building? Any book, any podcast for brand building need not be real estate. In fact, I would prefer it not be real estate.
Today I would tell you podcast.
Okay, but
I have to choose.
No, I'm not saying you have to choose any book or any podcast. That you recommend or you think is great or you've used or you've read or you asked your people to read or listen to.
So one thing. Actually, it was given to me by Naveen Jindal. You want me to tell you about the book or just the name of the book?
No, I mean, quick comment on the book would be useful.
So one thing, basically, it's the smallest book you'll ever read, but one of the most impactful books I've read. It basically talks about that your time is currency. When you wake up, most of us make a laundry list of things and then we get lost in the bargain. And he's obviously, had a lot of litigation which he's fought and come back. So I was actually having a conversation when he gave me this book as an answer. He said, if you want to really win the game of life, slice everything as much as you can.
Media space and the role of influencers, and that's exactly what we are going to discuss. Of course, don't want to spend too much of time on trying to evolve the backdrop of this subject because we've got around 35 minutes and three very intelligent and erudite speakers. But I will give you a little bit of background about this subject, and I was just making some notes while sitting out here. So I would say welcome to this entire world of YouTube stars. Welcome to the game streamers world. Welcome to the world of podcasters, Welcome to the world of bloggers and engaging thought leaders on LinkedIn. Welcome to digital content creators. Welcome to internet celebrities. Welcome to OTT stars. Terminologies which until the last 10 years were not even known to the world. If you are not calibrated on one of these terms today, possibly the government of India may ask you to actually give KYC for your Aadhaar card. Because how could you be living in this space without having endorsements from any of these areas as one of the players out there? 64% of consumers in the market today are actually taking and making their choices to go or buy or take some services based on not what their families and friends are saying, but it is based on what their identified favorite influencers are recommending. Ask your daughter or ask your son, if you're going to a hotel to stay for a holiday, whether he would want to ask his neighbor or would want to go on social media and find out as to what are the ratings given by some of the favorite people who are the drivers of influence on the choices he makes there. And that's where it is. So 64% of consumers are actually making the choices on the basis of that. The world is collectively spending 11.5 billion hours a day. Shocking? 11.5 billion hours per day on social media. Which means that on an average, 63% of the population which is using social media is on an average spending something like 2.5 hours on social media. And that's the kind of growing influence social media is going to have, whilst the print media and all coexist at a given point of time. We have seen the impact of this. Open Times of India newspaper, and for the first 4 pages there are no news at all. There is only advertising because they are still thriving on the old world advertising, but the changing world is going to make those kind of things. So it is with this kind of a backdrop that we are going to be talking. And we have 3 very, very intelligent, erudite speakers with us who are exponentially involved in using this kind of influencer brands in their products. They all come from different spaces. Unfortunately, one of our panelists who was involved with us at some point of time could not make it today because she is unwell. So Pooja is not going to be with us today. So that's good news and bad news. Bad news, she can't make it and you won't have that experience. Good news is that the ladies will have a little more time to be able to elaborate their points than the goldfish kind of answers we were expecting with the short span of time. So that's what actually I'm going to be doing. I've got some rough questions only, which are only an indicator of what we are going to be discussing. And I'm going to be asking these questions. So let me begin with you, Kiran, by asking this question. When you say influencer brand, and I think this is a general confusion because people in the space of marketing are actually confused between, isn't an old wine in a new bottle? Haven't we all heard of celebrity endorsers? Haven't we known of celebrities endorsing brands for the longest period of time? One of the experiences I had is I had worked with Coca-Cola for 14 years, and I know in the history that in 1900 Coca-Cola used a celebrity endorser who was an opera dancer. Now the question is, how is it different? Is it something very different, or is it the same thing, just tons of wordsmithery around it and we call it influencer branding?
Thank you, Adil, for the question. I think these two are very, very different. Because celebrity endorsements were actually based on the value of aspirations. Because people used to buy products doing that, ठीक है ये celebrity use कर रहा है ना तो बहुत अच्छा होगा मुझे भी use करना चाहिए. But here when we come to influencers, they're actually branding products that they're using. There's a community value that comes in there where they're building communities together, and there are a lot of niches that are created where somebody's a fashion influencer, somebody's a beauty influencer, somebody's a gaming influencer today. They're actually very, very well versed with the topic that they're speaking about, and hence more connected with the audience. It's more like peers talking to you rather than somebody guiding you to do what to do. So that's kind of more connective to the audience.
So where is the influencer part of it? It is only still aspirational. So if you see a film star saying, I stay in building XXX at Burley Seaface, then the world is expected to say, okay, fine, if he's staying, I should aspire to do that. So is it just pure aspirational brand positioning, or is it something more as an influencer?
as an influencer, you're actually maybe using the product. So you have makeup influencers, for example, who are actually trying different shades of lipstick, showing you how they're looking on them, and then asking you to try. They're actually, because it's not necessary that they're actually working for a brand once, so they're building communities that are very naturally evolving over a period of time, and then slowly taking on brand endorsements that they believe in, rather than really, having a superficial endorsement saying, okay, fine, drink Coca-Cola, but I'm not drinking it because I care about my diet.